Here I am leaning on my Ford GT, contemplating life because one of our friends just bought probably the most expensive car in Charlotte, would you say?
I think so.
So you know where we're headed right now. We're gonna go see the car that's gonna break the Charlotte car scene. That's what we're gonna do. So, Miller, let's get the heck out of here. You've been that guy. Yep. watching us come up with them. Oh no, that was pretty fun.
Whew. It's so hard not to like yell during that happening.
This car just makes me smile.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're almost there. Let's do it. Hey guys, so we're rolling up to Brian's place. Really thankful that he's allowing us to come over and check this out, but Brian's such a cool guy. Can't wait for you to meet him. And wait until you see what we're about to witness. Oh shit, can I reach it?
We're in.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
It's getting real.
It's getting real.
Let's do it.
What are we doing?
Wait, where are we right now?
Is this real?
Are we pulling into the White House right now?
So it's pretty.
What the? I can't say it, but oh, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. You know, it's funny. I was pretty like devastated when the Porsches left. I was like, oh my god, because I've just been such a Porsche.
What Porsches?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
I was dying because I was like, these things are so great. The city loves them. I love them, and I've always been a Porsche guy, right? And then this comes to the truck, and I was like,
bro,
this is the best decision I ever made.
Best decision you ever made. Tell us the story.
Right. So, you know, it starts with this. You know, whenever I was younger, you know, all the kids who had their posters of Lamborghinis and Ferraris and everything, I never was that guy. I had the Porsches, right? So I started with this Porsche game, and I love the Porsches, don't get me wrong. You know, it's gonna be sad to see the next couple go. But I'll tell you, when it came to like perfection in art, people look at artwork on the wall and they think that, hey, this is, you know, beautiful, this is beautiful. Well, when it comes to the car game, there's nothing more artistic than what Horacio Pagani did. You know, he took something that he brought, you know, carbon fiber to Lamborghini, and they're like, get out of here, right? Well, he got out of here and he started designing cars, but he did it with all the aspects and engineering and thinking of, hey, I want to build the greatest aerodynamic machine I can. You know, partnering up with Mercedes on a V12 twin turbo. I mean, it's amazing. You think that he took one of the best engine power plants that you can find and partnered up. So I'm pretty excited. Like, I got it here. It's like euphoric. I haven't been like jumping up and down, but it's because this is such an amazing thing. When I drive it, it's so active. It's different than any car I've ever driven. And I
can't even imagine.
Yeah, I've driven some of the best supercars in the world.
Exactly. You've been at the pinnacle of the Charlotte game for a while with your cars. So to see you move to this and knowing your backstory too.
Yeah.
We want to tell, not right this second, but we want to tell you the backstory of him. I don't let him share it. But as far as Monterey is concerned, tell us about what you were telling me before I had to run off.
Yeah, so, you know, when we're walking through Monterey, like a lot of people, what they do is they go to Monterey for the clout, and they go there for, you know, it's because it's a special event where all the big providers and car designers and stuff. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, when we got to walk on Pebble Beach and see cars from the 18 and 1900s, I'm the guy looking at the brake systems and engineering of it, because I'm so proud of what the human evolution has come to.
Yeah.
And I've always been into that. I mean, I tinker with everything. I've got Hondas, GTRs, classic cars.
Yep.
But when I was walking with my wife, it was like a special moment, because I'm like, hey, this is my trophy. This is the top of the line for me, and I'm gonna get one. And the fully carbon fiber exposed was only like a dream, because I was like, I'm never gonna be able to find somebody that wants to sell theirs.
Yeah.
But I did, and I worked with the Miller Motor Car Group, and they were just so excellent to me about how they handled the transaction. They were super fair, which was mind-blowing because everybody else wasn't fair. They were trying to give me like $1.2 million for my Martini Spider, and I was like, yeah.
You've been talking about this for a while, too.
2.5 years, I would say. I've been telling people I'm waiting, I'm gonna get one. But you know, it's funny because I wanted to find a car that could be a hyper or a supercar or whatever they call this. You know, I don't even know what it fits anymore.
Like second to God?
Yeah. And I wanted to find something that could give me the opportunity to have something special for the community, for our group, from creating memories, but that was a driver because you know me, I drive all my cars.
Everything.
I put them all on the track.
He's driven that, if you turn around, that has been everywhere.
Everywhere. My GT4 RS, I took that basically with no miles on it, took it straight to a mountain run, straight to the track, drove it hard to Florida, came back, went back to another mountain run, and I feel bad for it because it's had nothing but beat on miles.
Yep.
But that's the way they need to be driven. See, people are afraid to do what their cars are meant to be. And the garage queens, they always have their cars in the shop because they're not being driven.
That's right.
Well, I'm not. So Pagani was special because they do rallies with their owners every year.
Yeah, that's sick, dude.
And I'm excited to do those things.
It's gonna be awesome.
And it's you truly feel like you're a part of the family because they went from selling like 120 cars a year in the world to 40 cars a year in the world.
Wow.
So now I'm part of this like elite group that, you know, is going to spend time getting to know the family of Pagani. And something that, you know, Evan at Miller told me, like, they're all about the relationship, not how many cars you buy. It's about being involved with the community. And that reached to me too, because no offense, you know, because Koenigsegg, Bugatti, they're all beautiful. You never see those people out.
Never.
You never see those cars being driven.
Unless it's like an older Bugatti and it's a private owner who just takes it to car shows, right?
Yeah.
But no, not, I mean, this is a whole different echelon.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that you own it because I know you're going to drive it.
Oh yeah, I'm going to drive the piss out of it.
You're not taking it this weekend, are you?
So I went back and forth. I went back and forth about it. I thought about it. But awesome. You know what it is? I was like, you know, it's brand new to me. I want to make sure I get used to the car. So I'm going to end up dragging the SVJ out, and then.
It's a sad day.
And then I think LJ, I told him, I was like, man, come to the rally. I think he's going to take the 4RS.
That's awesome. And LJ's such an awesome guy.
That's my little brother, man.
Yeah. So one thing about Brian is the problem with Brian is he's a really good driver too, and he knows how to drive his car. So I know you'd push the hell out of this up there.
So I did a little bit last night. It's crazy because what I really wanted to learn is the braking and kind of some of the aero.
Yeah.
So the cool part about this car is these front flaps and rear flaps, they're active with the car. So when you brake hard, they're up, and there's nothing I've used or done that's brakes like this car. I was like, it's pretty insane.
How does it work back here?
I mean, it's essentially when you brake.
Oh, here.
Yeah, these flaps are active.
I was looking at the wing.
Yeah, this is the Tempest package, but this is the active aero. So, and also when I'm cornering, these are leveling with the car, and same with the front.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah, it's pretty insane.
Dude, and the cool part is this is the most gorgeous piece of art I've ever seen.
Yeah.
We're car guys, right? Yeah. So I don't look at a painting on the wall and go, I love artwork too, but this trumps like anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, just the fact that we're all kind of risk takers in everything we do.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to the storyline of why this is a special car to me, because I go back to this gentleman who was just working for another company and found a way to make what his vision and put it on canvas and then make it a reality. So it is truly art. And just looking at the quality of the carbon fiber, how they match the weaves. I mean, all this stuff is insane compared to all of us trying to piece carbon fiber on a car, you know?
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
I know exactly. I know I get asked all the time on the GT, you could add carbon to this? I'm like, no. Yeah. We'll let Brian have the carbon now. Now we have an excuse. He'd be like, no. No, my friend's got an all carbon car. It's all good. So we don't need it.
Yeah.
Man, I'm still speechless. I'm having trouble. And, you know, we came over here to hang out with Brian, and we just kind of threw a mic on him and started filming. And because I wanted you to get the genuine, like, feel of what this means. Because I've known Brian for quite some time, and you have a pretty awesome story yourself of how you got to this point. And it's a lot of what you preach and I preach to the car
Yep.
community here, because we really do care about this next gen coming up.
Yep.
So like maybe share with them a little bit that don't know you about your journey.
Yeah, so I mean, the journey of me it's really a story of like the super humble beginnings, right?
Yep.
You know, my dad was a brick mason. I don't think he ever made over $20 an hour in his lifetime, you know, and he got paid a lot of times, you know, working 8 days a week when there's only 7 because he's working
Yep.
on the weekends and stuff. You know, he's an alcoholic, smoked all his life, you know, suffered through those things. My mom, you know, definitely went through a lot of depression, being a single mom, just trying to put food on the table. You know, like to me, I was telling the story the other day about some people, like they live life expecting certain things. Well, I never did, because we just lived life hoping that we could put food on the table that night. And, you know, I started at an early age grinding the job sector. You know, I knew if I went to work at like Winn-Dixie as a bag boy, well, I can only work 12 hours a week. Well, I knew I could get a second job, so I would do that. And I say, okay, well, I can work another 12 hours a week. And then I work for the bingo hall with my buddies after bingo night, cleaning ashtrays, making cash. You know, I did whatever I could to get money, but it was also because I had goals and dreams to get out of the neighborhood. You know, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, and what we consider a really rough part of Jacksonville, Florida, but it was normal to us. You know, we weren't taught about college through our school system.
Dang.
Our parents never said anything to us because they knew there was no chance for us to do it. I played sports. I was, you know, my dad was devastated when I gave up pitching. I was a left-handed pitcher, but my passion was soccer. I was very talented in the game of soccer, and I enjoyed playing the game. But then I, you know, had the opportunity to do different things. At 16, I moved out. You know, I was like, all right, well,
Wow.
I'm going to move out and try to hang out with, you know, friends, do whatever. And trust me, I got in a lot of trouble and did different stuff and tried different things and failed at many different opportunities. But what I knew was I never wanted to be what my dad was going to be. You know, he a brick mason. I never wanted to be an alcoholic. I never wanted to smoke cigarettes. What I wanted to do is get out of the neighborhood I was in, because they actually taught us that was it. That where you sit
Once
is you're
you're
never
there,
gonna,
you're
that's
there.
it. Yeah. So I strived every day to better myself, and I did it by just circling like a better crowd above me. I kept on attaching myself above me. I had a very good opportunity playing sports. I went to some private schools that really elevated me. It let me see the outside. I'm driving a beat up Honda Civic, and I'm seeing kids drive BMWs and Mercedes. And I'm thinking, well, in order for me to get there, I've got to work harder. But I quickly realized, like college, you know, taking that opportunity on, that it wasn't for me, right? I'm done with it. I get out of that situation and I move on to the workforce. I was bartending and meet my wife, and she tells me I got a good real job. I'm like, man, I'm making like $500 a
Yeah,
night.
exactly.
But she was in medical school, and I start.
She knew you had more potential.
Yeah. She's been my biggest cheerleader, and
So awesome.
Yeah,
And she's incredible.
Oh, she's great.
Yeah.
She puts up with a lot of crap from me, so she's really great.
We do too. It's okay.
Yeah. But then, you know, my first transportation job was went to temp to perm. I was at a temp agency.
Wow.
And I just stayed like 2 hours a day for like 5 hours for free. I was learning what everybody else did around me, and I was building
that's
a
the
book.
formula.
Yeah, I was doing it.
It's like a lost art form on this next gen. They
Yeah.
need to realize, like,
Yes.
you can't come in expecting me to pay you top dollar out of the gate. Like, come in and do something for me, for a company.
Yeah.
Get your rap first, and then they're gonna want to do more for you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the doing the work for free, people couldn't compute what I was doing. But I remember I was just somebody scheduling or tracking and tracing trucks, and that was never going to pay me a lot of money. I was making like, you know, $8-9 an hour, and I was like, this is not going to be it. But I saw all these people around me making money and advancing in their career, and I said, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay back. I'm going to learn what they do. I'm going to figure it out. And then what I did is I started selling. I mean, I wasn't even a salesperson, but what I did is I went to like the advertisers. You and I will remember this, the young generation won't, but Circuit City, Best Buy,
Yep.
Montgomery Wards, Sears. I went to those people and I said, hey, my big win in logistics was, let me take your transportation. It was the inserts that we got in our Sunday paper.
Yep.
Let me take that out of the printer's hands and show you how much you're spending on transportation. And I took just a whim. I'll save you 50% on this. And they're like, yeah, right, young kid, blah, blah, blah. Well, what I did is I kind of reverse engineered it, and I went to the LTL carriers and I started negotiating pricing. LTL carriers in our business, that's FedEx, UPS,
Yep.
all those people. And I said, hey, tell me your worst terminals that you need freight at. I'll drop truckloads of freight, of skids of this product in.
Yeah.
I just need God's pricing, right? they gave me God's pricing.
Whoa.
Just thinking he'll fail, we'll just take it away. I got this pricing, and then I built this like $35 million book of business in a year's time, making like no money. And then I look up one day, and our company's like a $70 million company, right? And I'm like, hey guys, either you got to make me a partner, pay me a lot more, or I'm taking this book and going. That was my first risk. I was like, I'm about to lose my job by doing this, but it worked.
Dude, so, you brought, and that's the whole thing. What people don't, what a lot of kids don't realize is if you create value for a company, they're going to eventually notice and take care of you. And but you have to do it first.
You have to. And if they don't notice, then trust me, you've got a skill set and something that another company will notice and take you on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, but grinding in my business was a risk. There was many long 60, 70, 80, 90-hour weeks. You know, I had to sacrifice a lot of the family life in the early age. I feel like my oldest daughter, you know, there's things I wish I could go back and change, but it wouldn't have given her what I've helped, the footprint I'm giving her now. Same thing with my youngest daughter. But it's been an incredible journey to say, hey, I took a company from nothing to $1 billion.
Exactly.
No college education.
Yep.
Just surrounded myself with great people, built an impeccable team, and I just let them actually be who they're supposed to be.
Yep.
I nurtured them, they nurtured me, and we became a really flatline organization because I just don't believe in the pyramid scheme of somebody sitting on top kind of just managing people. But I was super blessed, and you know, trust me, I'm going through the next phase of my life, the midlife crisis, as I.
We're talking about it pretty often.
Yeah,
we're trying to get you some real estate.
Yeah, I'm like, I got to do something because I'm ADD. I have to go, and my wife, I'm going to drive her nuts if I'm sitting at home all the time. Yeah. So,
it's almost went from like not having enough time with your family to like, okay, get out of the house, bro.
Oh no, absolutely. My kids, my wife, literally, like, you got to go.
The cool part is, though, I see you out with your family a lot, even at the car stuff, and they drive the other cars.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you're getting even a deeper quality of life with them than you were before.
Yeah.
And you're going on trips all the time.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You're never out of town. Leave your house.
Yeah.
This is never left alone.
Yeah. I'll just let you hold on to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, what? You heard it.
Yeah, it's locked in.
It's in the barn garage.
Yeah, the rental fee's pretty high. No,
yeah, exactly.
But it's look, I'm a blessed human being, but it wasn't with like just luck. There was some luck, but it was a lot of sacrifice. And like I tell the younger generation all the time, they want to go to lunch with me. They want me to mentor them. And I'd love to do that for everybody. I just don't have enough time in the day. And plus, my time is money because I want to get back out there producing more.
That's
not
right.
for just this, because I want to do. I do a lot of. I sacrifice even my own money for others.
We've talked about this.
Yeah, I don't do it just for myself.
There's a lot that he does that you guys don't know about.
Yeah.
And that isn't on Instagram. And that's when you know the quality of a person too, when you know them intimately, but the Instagram doesn't.
Yeah.
And they won't tell you that they gave that person a car or gave that person money or supported that business, but they just do it.
Yep.
And then that's.
Well, I'm really big in like, if a person can have a good conversation and tell me their aspirations and dreams, and if I can make sense and make it net out, I'll help people. I'll always do that. Same thing with, High Definition, the detail company. Brock
awesome.
Brock used to just detail my cars, and he would tell me all these things, and I would give him challenges. I would say, hey, here's your next step. You do this, or hey, you do this. And then finally he did those things, and I said, all right, let's cut the chase. You want to do it right? Let's do this thing. Now, starting High Definition was also for me to help kind of fix the market. Somebody quoted me like $15,000 or $20,000 to PPF my 918, and I was like, there's no more film on this 918 than there was on that Porsche or that Lamborghini. Why is it double the price? And then I said, you know what? And I started hearing the horror stories of people just getting gouged for this stuff. And I said, I got a great human being that wants to learn this. Send him to school. I'll put the money up to make sure it's done properly with the right equipment. We're gonna learn, we're gonna make mistakes together, we're gonna have wins together. But then I said, but we're gonna regulate the pricing and make it fair for people. We're gonna do a great job, we'll make normal margins, and we're not gonna just gouge somebody because it's a difference between a Civic and a Porsche. We're gonna try to sit there and be fair to everybody. And we've done it, and I can't tell you, like watching these young people, you've got Brock, Gabe, Corey, and now a kid named Ryan. They're learning, they're doing it, they're learning an art, and I'm giving them a skill set. If they leave one day and go do something for when it comes to something else, whatever, happy for them. I always tell people, if it's going to better your family or you, it's the right move.
That's right.
No hard feelings from me.
Yep.
I'll never be mad at you.
Yep.
Now, if you're doing it out of selfish things and you're going to take something away from somebody
Totally different.
for no reason
Yep.
at all,
Yep.
wrong move. Have a conversation with beforehand.
Absolutely.
But it's fun seeing that this group of young guys is flourishing and they work their butts off.
And they've been on the channel a lot. You guys know who he's talking about
Yeah.
because they've done PPF on the Cobra, on the Ford GT, on the GT40, on the 67 Camaro. I mean, it's like now I'm like,
Yeah, it's like an
and it's
addiction.
all the guys
You want
support
to
him.
protect it, but yeah, it's also like we always joke because they're like, man, Vinny always brings us the new challenges because it's not like his cars are easy because you know doing more of a round car is harder than doing just a flat panel.
Plus, he's trying to do one piece on a GT40. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, when have you ever wrapped one of those ever? And then it's like,
Yeah.
so it's just, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Is this already done?
So we're having to repair a lot of the PPF that's on the front end in a couple areas anyway. So
Okay.
it'll be in the shop. But I'm excited for them to get their hands on it to kind of, because the PPF, it's older, it's been on there for a little while, and I wanted to kind of clean it up so it can pop the carbon more. But I'm excited for them to do some things on this. I mean, trust me, they did the 19, they redid my SVJ because it had, I beat on that car, let's be real.
Yeah, you drive the hell out of it.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel bad for that car. Everybody's like wanting to buy it. I'm like, no, you don't, because that's like my daily.
It's almost
beater.
your daily driver.
Yeah. But just helping the younger generation, that's important. I said something in our chat this morning, like last night, having this car out, seeing the group of people come out for it, and just in awe, and the fact that they can get up close to it, that makes me happy.
Absolutely.
Then you never know what's going on in somebody's life. Like I said
Nailed
it between our group. I won't say his name over video right now because I don't know if he wants that much publicity. But a kid that takes pictures sometimes, and I spoke to his dad and his mom a while back, and I knew his dad had cancer, and he told me, he was like, I'm going to die. And he's like, but having you guys around my son gives me hope because he looks up to you guys.
Wow.
And he, his passion for taking pictures in the cars, it's really kept him, level-headed. And I told him, I was like, man, we'll always, be a good community to help support him in the ways we can, this and that. And then last night he's walking up.
Are going down.
Yeah, he's walking up with a smile on his face. But I could tell. I was like, man, what's wrong with you? He's like, man, my dad just passed away 3 weeks ago, and I just gave him a hug.
Oh, again?
Yeah, I just gave him a hug, and it was fun. The fun part about it was some of the other car guys gave him a hug, let him release his emotions. But I just told him, I was like, you know what though? Keep talking to your dad because he's listening. Keep being positive and doing positive stuff, and all this stuff that you love, it can be achieved.
Yeah.
I'm proof of that. Anybody can get this stuff. I mean, it's taking risk, but with those risks, as long as you have a safety net of you can always go back and do what you have to do to make money, you can always do it. Again, I'm a guy that lost it all. 2011.
We just talked about it on Saturday.
Yeah, lost everything, almost my marriage, because I was like really, had to figure out how to get back on top of my game. And, me and my wife are stronger than ever. And I rebuilt because
Look where we're standing right now.
Yeah, I have all the knowledge.
You would never know that you went through what you've described to you guys.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is not for the camera, what he's talking to you guys about. I've known him for many, many years. This is literally, like, we'll be at a car show, and I stand back and I'm observant when I'm not talking. And he's over there literally talking to the next gen, saying these exact same things. Yep. And I think the most profound thing I ever heard you say one time that has stuck with me, because I always preach to these kids, like, stay out of debt, don't buy dumb shit, like all these financial stuff, right? But you said something when you took that GT4 and we went up to the mountains, because I was in the GT, and we were in that parking lot at the what was it, it was a restaurant on the way that we all met at. And that kid came up, and your advice to him was, surround yourself with the right people. And I was like, dude, that's literally the key. That is the biggest key to everything. Because when I was growing up, I came from very similar beginnings as you, and they know I'm not going to get into it, but like, I still have my group of friends today from childhood. There's 7 of us that are just tightly knit. And I still stay in touch almost every day with these guys. And that kept me out of a lot of trouble that other friends were getting into.
Absolutely.
And all the other friends that were getting into trouble are still struggling. Many of them, right? They haven't done anything with their lives. We've encouraged each other, helped each other, and we're all like different points. But I just, like, I literally melted when I was watching you talk to him, in his face, because I don't think he'd ever heard that before.
And, well, I've lived by that rule of, it's crazy. couple of my best friends, they live up here now, and we've been friends for 35 plus years.
Yep.
Lived on a street. It was one of the 30 homes I lived in because we moved around so much, but that was my most memorable, safest place. That street, because of the friends I made.
Yep.
I always tell people, have your core 5, right? And then you just keep building.
Yep.
Another core 5 around that creates 10, then 15. You're never going to have a billion friends all at once. You have to vet them. Make sure they have a common interest, common goals, and that they're going to look out for you as much as you're going to look out for them. And something I always tell the younger generation is, this is my company motto, and I say it to everybody. There's, find more ways to say yes, and that's to yourself, that's to opportunities, and I've lived by that, because if somebody's saying no, trust me, somebody else is saying yes. If you find more ways to say yes, you will be successful, you will move forward in life, and you'll have positive reinforcement to that forward move. And then to my kids and to all the younger generation, I preach this: be the best you that you can be. It doesn't matter how much money you make, doesn't matter these cars, but if you're the best you that you can be, I promise you, good things happen.
It's so true. I'm in an 8-week challenge right now to get some weight down.
Yeah.
And I've been doing pretty good for about a week. And the way I've changed my mindset is I just want to be a little bit better than what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
And I've heard that said a million times, but that's so true. Because a lot of times I'm a big picture guy. We all like I preach big picture. You got to look at big picture.
Yeah.
But sometimes you also have to look so detailed.
Oh, I know.
That you're like, hey, yesterday I effed up in this way, so we got to change it for today. But one of the things before we get to the car, because I know you guys want to see the car more also, our group of friends that we have and the network that we've created in Charlotte is so special, dude.
Yeah, it is. It's strong.
It's a bunch of this guy.
Yeah.
Literally. Everybody has the same heart. A lot of guys have similar stories. So we're really lucky, dude. This is pretty infectious too. That's why we're doing this, by the way.
Yeah, we're either really infectious positive for each other, or we're really bad spending money, which I've got a couple of those guys that have helped me spend a lot of my own money.
I had to get, so there was a point where I got off the thread because my wife and I were having some difficulties that we went to some couples therapy for, because there was some influences with some financial decisions that we were in growth mode still. It was like, I got to pump the brakes for a little while. I got to work out the marriage stuff. And then, because none of us are perfect either. We all go through our times.
We're human, and humans are engineered to be imperfect.
Yep.
I compare us as the biggest predators, of course, because we are, but we're like lions. Yep. We are like lions. We are just, the men are dominant. The women are trying to be the ones that take care of everything. And, we're two different souls that we're trying to match together to be one. And so there's a lot of up and down when it comes to that.
Yep.
But yeah, our group is insanely perfect. I come from Florida. So I lived in the Mecca, right? And I lived in Cali for a little bit.
Not the same.
It's not. The
and
quality
I was a
of people,
SoCal guy. It's not the same.
Yeah, the quality of people here
Yep.
blows my mind. And that's the reason I will be here, because I want to be here with the people and the friendships. And,
that's right.
You don't have car groups like we do. You have pockets like 3 or 4 people that hang out.
Yeah.
But we've got like 50 people.
That's what I'm saying. Well, like LA, there were a lot of good people in the car scene.
Yeah.
But there were also a lot of douchey people. So it was like, there was this balance, right?
Yeah.
But I don't feel that here. I feel it's very it's like 50 guys now. And here's the other thing I love about it, and then I think we'll start getting on this thing, is there are problems that he and I experience, and some of you can relate to this, when we're entrepreneurs, that someone that works at a normal 9-to-5 can't comprehend or relate with. And it's not because any less or more valuable. It's because when I'm trying to navigate interest rates doubling on a construction project and trying to figure out a solution, I don't ask my buddy that works as an engineer at a aerospace company. He's not going to understand that world, right?
Yep.
So our 50 guys, and what we started doing is forming a little subgroup for this particular reason, is helping us work through each other's issues and helping us to elevate ourselves and buy real estate. I'm a real estate professional, so I'm speaking with you guys, not as trying to sell anything, just trying to hey guys, this is the shit I've learned. So do you have any questions? Yeah. And then Brian's gonna be like, hey, this is the shit I know. Maybe Vinny, you should do some of this too.
Yeah. Spreading the knowledge is key. So a lot of people think it's you gotta be protective on everything you know and do. The more you spread, the better everyone else can be.
That's
and especially because we all learn the right way to do something in different ways. So there's so many right ways to do stuff. Real estate, you know, I love the fact that I've talked to like 4 or 5 of you, and you're all making money and scaling. You're all kind of doing it in different ways. So
Right.
me, I reverse engineer everything. I'm like, all right, how can I take this and pull like 2 or 3 of these together so it flows as a continuous? Because I see that in the world of things, everybody's doing it the same way out of these 5 ways. Well, how can we use the information and knowledge between each other to spread and string a couple of these together? Because that might actually make it where it's a more marginable thing for everyone.
Yeah, it's so true.
And that's what I've been really kind of focusing. You know, we do these dinners, and it's funny. Like I'm like, first couple ones I was like, oh, this is chaos. I can't control. We got to change it. And now I like the fact that we're like, hey, listening to each other. We're all having opportunities to speak, and we're emceeing it a different way. So it becomes a mini conference for us.
It does.
Within
Which
the
is
group.
so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And there might be 20 or 30 guys there, and it's like, and everybody's contributing at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think, so it's funny because like, we didn't expect to do a podcast episode today, but I feel like we need to start a podcast.
Yeah.
But I think this is really good for you guys. Those of you who stuck around right now. So this will be episode number 2.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you talk about the podcast stuff. So in my industry, I was asked to do so many podcasts, speak at conferences, all that stuff. But I was so busy scaling the business, I thought, hey, to be the movie star takes me off my game because I'm not focusing. But now that I'm off my game, I've had so many people approach me again, and I'm always like, maybe I should do some stuff with you and other people or for myself and just have these conversations because, you know, we threw out some ideas. There's a videographer friend of I have, and he's like, a couple of them were like, hey, you should just like do some different stuff. And, you know, I told him about you and what you're doing. And it's like cool that we can like do some partnering up to spread the knowledge because I love what you're doing. I love it.
Thank you.
When I watch some of the stuff, you know, people
In the beginning, I was scared as fuck, and I did not know what I was doing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah. And well, that's the crazy part is like, that's where I'm a little different than a lot of people. I never get scared. I get, what happens is I always tell people you either love me or hate me, and because there's no middle ground, because I don't have a filter. I just tell people how it is, and sometimes people can't stand that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, hey, I'm only doing this because I know that I've seen this wrong path done.
Yep.
Let me show you how to get around that.
Totally.
And avoid that.
If you delete all the other BS that's on the internet right now, and you sort through the stuff that actually is like true to life, which we both know the undertones of that. And you're right. And then a lot of people right now don't know how to handle the direct information.
No.
So, but I'm feeling you and I and other guys have a way of presenting it where it's maybe less intimidating.
Absolutely.
And it's more real and it's more encouraging.
Well, we're approachable too.
Exactly.
So many people aren't approachable. They want to be seen as a god and treated like they're above others. We don't do that. I'm like, man, at my job, I used to tell people I was a vice president of janitorial services when they come in as a new employee. And they see me on the website as a CEO. I'm like, I'm no better than you. You're just as important as I am. Your opinion is just as important as mine. I'm just the guy that took the risk so that I could get great people like you to come help elevate what I'm doing.
Pretty cool, dude.
So.
Pretty cool. Well, and to say you're not a god and own this, that's pretty humble. What do you say? Should we talk about the car a little bit more?
Yeah.
Should we show it to them?
Let's do it. So we'll, first things first, we'll open it up because that's what people want to see, right? So I'm going to have Vinny help me open it up because that's...
Dude. We might want to. What do you guys think? I think we're going to do a new, we're just going to break it. Cut. Go real. Here, outro. Folks, this is what we're gonna do. That was, if you haven't made it this far in the video, you're wrong. So if you've made it this far in the video, you heard me say that, you probably learned a shit ton right now. So again, this is Brian. Go follow him on Instagram. We'll put his mark here. We put it earlier in the video for you. I got nothing else to say, man. That was epic. That was epic. We are going to now shift gears and stay tuned for the next episode.